It has been a busy 2 years. Hi, I'm Chris Cracknell, Chair of the British Chamber of Commerce here in Thailand. I thought it to be a good time now to look back at the past 2 years as I near the end of my term of office as Chair of the Chamber. It really has been a 2-year term of two halves. The first half was all about COVID, and the second half was all about getting back to normality for the Chamber and out there working with our members, working with our working groups, working with our board directors and the executive to deliver first-class education, events, and ways for which our members can engage with each other and with the Chamber properly. At our first strategy session at the beginning of my term, we set out some very clear objectives. We wanted to have a heavy focus on our working groups. These groups are covering topics which are of real interest to our members. In fact, it's our members who've suggested which topics we should be following. Secondly, we looked at government relations, government here in Thailand, and also with our embassy, the British Embassy, and with the Department of International Trade. These are our windows back to the UK to convey messages, to convey concerns, and to gather support. And the fourth group and focus, and perhaps the most important, is our members themselves. We are a members' chamber, and our members vary in terms of size of company, large to small, in terms of activity, diversity. We are an eclectic group of business people who get together to learn, to support each other, and to represent British business here in Thailand. We've listened very closely to members' feedback, and that has influenced everything we have done in the last 2 years. Focusing first of all on our 18 working groups. These are led by members, by board directors of the Chamber, and the teams that help run these working groups are again from a cross-section of members, those that are interested in a particular activity or some other subject that adds value. Our working groups are the heart of the British Chamber in terms of business exchange with our members. I'm just going to pull out 4 working groups that I think stand exactly for what we want from the British Chamber. All 18, though, it is fair to say, are particularly active and proactive on behalf of its members. We have our advocacy working group. This was a particularly important working group to get established, and during the last year, it really has focused on a number of key issues and communications, working closely here in Thailand with the Minister of Finance, the Minister of Tourism, the Director General of the Revenue Department, the Deputy Governor of the BMA. They've held meetings and sessions with all of these groups to put across points of view from our members and to hopefully lay down arguments for improvement and help for British business and business in general here in Thailand. Lastly, they've also been very closely involved with the Department for International Trade from the UK. Now, clearly, the Department of International Trade has a big setup here, but again, they're able to draw upon the Chamber and upon the advocacy group to actually get real-time stories, real-time issues, and points of view that will help British business long-term. Second group I want to bring out has a slightly different vein. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. All voices are heard. Essentially, as a chamber, it is important that we reflect society as it is today, that we actually get involved and help educate those that wish to learn more or represent those that are underrepresented generally. And I think our DE&I working group, which has just been established, has got off to a very strong start and is offering good, sound advice to many members in terms of what they can do or how they can meet some challenges in these areas. More long-standing is our Women in Business, and they have achieved great stuff. They are running sessions every month, and of particular interest to me is the mentoring of future female leaders. They've got great sessions running, it's personal mentoring, and it's a really well-established route to success for the future. And lastly, again, and this is in very much response to members' requests from our SME group, is to actually set up an SME working group that actually is gathering thoughts and feedback from smaller member organisations, concentrating them down into key points, feeding them back to the board so that we can execute new ways forward of supporting our SME members and what their needs are and how they need us as a chamber to represent them. Looking forward to January next year, 2023, the British Chamber will be running its elections once again as it does each year. And this is a hotly contested opportunity for people to get involved with the Chamber and operate at board level. Looking back 12 months to last January, it was quite incredible. We had the most number of prospective board members standing that we had ever had for the number of vacancies we had available. The turnout of members voting was the highest level in recent time. This shows a very active, I'd like to believe, active chamber that is really engaged with its members and its members engaging with the chamber itself. As to the process that we run, the voting is all handled electronically. There's no manual interference and no way you can influence the outcome. It is a totally controlled environment, and I'm very proud that we're setting the standards about elections and election processes for chambers here in Thailand. One of the big outcomes and big wins from last year, determined by our members, was actually that our board is exactly 50-50 in terms of male-female gender representation. This is a great achievement for the British Chamber. It provides a good balance. And not only have we got gender diversity, but we also have further diversity around the board in terms of representing all types of company size, all types of industry, all types of people. And this is helping drive better decisions that are more representative of what you, our members, are really asking us to do. And the discussions around the board and in the working groups is fantastic when I hear the dialogue and the views expressed. No such thing as a bad idea. Everyone's views are welcome. Of course, chambers like ours don't just happen or succeed year to year without the support of an extremely strong executive. And I'm delighted that in Greg Watkins, we have a really powerful leader of our executive team. Below him, we also have a great team of long-serving employees that really understand and know our members, the events we're running, contacts in government, and a whole range of knowledge about our chamber, which they're able to harness and bring to benefit for our members through our various events, through our working groups, through our education programs, through charity work. Our executive team are right there leading our chamber to best effect for our members. Reflecting back to my opening that it's a 2-year period of two halves. The first year was all about COVID in 2020. We had to pivot, we had to stop doing live events, we had to move to webinars, we had to do all sorts of things that were different to the past. But the executive, the board and members responded really well, and we made the best of a tough time. And I guess one of the things that I'm most proud of is the way members supported each other, supported the chamber, and got us through those COVID years. If we move then into post-COVID, we return back to more normality of face-to-face events. And one of the things we have focused on is improving our communication generally with both prospective members and existing members. And one of the avenues we've chosen that has been really successful has been social media. And I'm really pleased to say that out of all of the chambers here in Thailand, the British Chamber of Commerce, is the #1 on LinkedIn for communication and engagement of all the chambers. I think this is a real testament and achievement to everyone that's worked on this initiative to increase and make use of social media as an additional form of communication with our members. 2020 was, as I said earlier, an eventful year for the Chamber where we pivoted to support through the COVID crisis our members. And I really just want to pull out and share and remind people of a few important stats that I think come out from that period of time for us as a chamber. A lot of people were struggling to understand where to get vaccines, how they could look after their staff, colleagues, etc. And I was delighted at the way that the British Chamber, led by Greg and Gina, really responded to this, offering vaccines to members. First of all, it started off with a simple communication, and I don't suppose at that time we had any idea how big this drive would become. We started letting members and their organisations know that we could source vaccines for them, arrange appointments. We then looked after people that actually weren't even members of the British Chamber. They were British people here in Thailand, many of whom were retired, helping them and their carers get vaccinations. We in fact then extended it even further, so it was really anyone that was interested could come to us as a chamber, and through our team we were able to set up vaccinations for them to help them through the COVID crisis, to give them some answers during this difficult, challenging time of uncertainty. It was a key part in my mind of helping our members get back into business, and for those that were retired out here to have some sort of assurance they were being supported when they were so uncertain and scared. In total, over 7,234 people were vaccinated through this programme. And in fact, it is still running today as people go back for boosters in subsequent years. Turning now to the subject of annual partners and sponsors. We as a chamber, we have our members and our membership fees, but we also derive core income from annual partners and sponsors of events. And I'd like to make and remind everyone of the opportunities here to promote your company brand and what you do to other members quite visibly, either through our annual partnership program or our event sponsorship program, which offers lower cost packages for single events, where you can get involved and be seen to be part of the British Chamber actively taking education or other events out to our members. This is a really good way of getting your brand in front of others, and it will raise your own profile at the same time. The other area of key focus in looking now and into the future is around our new members. We, like all chambers, are looking to attract new members to our chamber. It's a key part of what we do. And yes, we want to grow our membership. So we're out there actively promoting at the moment to encourage new members to come on board. Greg and his team are out there knocking on doors, and I'd encourage all of you that know other companies that are not members of the British Chamber, please encourage them to come along and talk to us. Understand what we can do as a chamber to help them in their business needs, help them and their employees in terms of developing skills and other needs for the future. Of course, new membership can be challenging, but let me say it's also incredibly rewarding for our new members. They get encouragement. We will make introduction to other members of the chamber who can listen and understand what the new member wishes to learn more about or who to be introduced to. We offer a short video so that they can promote themselves on LinkedIn. And we can actively engage new members in any of our working groups, perhaps at first just as an observer, before gaining confidence to play a more active role in our working groups or other activities. We're an inclusive chamber. We want new members, we want fresh ideas, and we want to support those new emerging startup businesses or more established businesses here in Thailand that would benefit from membership of the British Chamber. It's a fun place to be, it's a learning place to be, and at the end of the day, we're all here to support each other. Earlier I talked about the importance of strong relationship with government, and our advocacy group has done a lot of work with Thai government here in Thailand in representing our views and needs. But we've also built an incredibly strong relationship, and I'm delighted with this, with the British Ambassador here, Mark Gooding, and with Ben Morley from the Department of International Trade. We're working very closely with both the Embassy and the DIT in making sure that we get our voice heard and listened to about the needs of businesses here in Thailand and how the DIT and Embassy can support us. And this is a great working relationship. Our ambassador and Ben Morley have attended many of our events. In fact, they have been speakers at many of our events and talked to many of our members around the country. And this is really to be encouraged and welcomed. it's a great level of engagement, and they're hearing at first hand from you, our members, the things that concern you, the things you want to know about. And this has been a great two-way communication channel. We've also had the benefit in the last year or so of a number of ministers and government representatives visiting from the UK. And again, the British Chamber has been able to engage with them along with the DIT and the Embassy. And it's great that we're having this level of engagement at a time where messaging is so vital to what we're trying to do. Some names of people that have visited: Paul Scully, Graham Brady, Liz Truss, Marcus Fish, Mark Garnier. They've all been out here. They've all listened to what we as a chamber, what you, our members, have got to say about the needs for Thailand and how British business can be more successful here and what support you're looking for from them. I'm also delighted that this last 12 months has seen us as the British Chamber chairing the Foreign Chambers Alliance. And this is made up of the Australian, the American, German and British chambers. And it's a great working group, again, lobbying and working on behalf of members of those chambers with government and others here in Thailand. The backbone of our chamber has for many years in the past been built around successful events. They're networking events. They're events where people can get to meet new members. They're events where we can learn. And I'll just highlight a few of the successful events we've had in the last few months, last 12 months or so. We had our garden party, which really marked the exit of coming out of COVID into one of our first big events. A great turnout, a lot of energy and a lot of support. Really nice to see as we bounce back into a post-COVID era. Just recently, we've had our Thailand International Business Awards, another great event. We had a lot of entrants for the various awards that we made that evening. We had a great turnout of people supporting, and it was fun. And great to see us being able to celebrate the successes of British business, both large and small, entrepreneurial, individuals and corporates. They're the backbone of entrepreneurialism here in Thailand for Britain. And I think it's fantastic that we have the opportunity to celebrate and share those successes. Our chamber is much broader than just Bangkok. We do represent business and British people throughout the whole of the kingdom, from Chiang Mai down to Phuket. And especially, I think we've had some great events this year in Hue Hin and on the eastern seaboard. And I see this growth in events around the country as we look forward over the next 24 months. We're here to have active members, and we want to run events with members around the country where they can share in the benefits of being a member of the British Chamber of Commerce. So now moving to closing. As we end this 2-year period, as I said in opening, the first 12 months were really dominated by COVID and a new way of the Chamber operating around webinars and less formal face-to-face communication. As we moved into the last 12 months, we have reverted back to more face-to-face events, live events, and much more engagement of members with each other. It's been a great pivot between the two styles, which was forced upon us by events. As I look forward, I feel that the Chamber is in a very strong position. We have great engagement from our members, and we're looking to grow our membership in future years. We have increased the number of working groups that we've got representing our members' favoured and chosen topics. If you have other ideas, please let us know. We'll consider them and put them into action. As a board, we have a very active, mixed board of skills, of people, of gender, of great knowledge. And it's great to see how much activity there is around the boardroom table when we meet with new ideas, building on our strengths in the past, looking to correct areas of weakness and making our chamber stronger. A big thank you to all our board directors and to our working group leads and working group members. Then there is the executive I mentioned earlier, and I would just like to mention them once more. A big thank you to our executive for providing the consistency and delivering and converting the thoughts of the board into real action, policy and events. It's a fantastic combination. And lastly, most importantly, I'm absolutely delighted with the active membership we have within the Chamber. We're here to serve you. We're here to represent you. We want you to be active and part of your Chamber and drive it forward from strength to strength. Thank you.